So local authorities in Zanzibar initially said that Ashlee took her own life, but you guys released a statement saying that her death was suspicious. What do you think happened?
We're not too sure what happened. That's what we're trying to find out. I got 2 emails today from the embassy in Zanzibar. They said the investigation is still ongoing. That they have not determined the cause of death yet at all. An investigation still.
I find it hard to believe that a lifestyle influencer, 31 years of age, goes to Tanzania with her fiance and takes her life. You heard what I just said? Ashlee Jenae was found dead in a Tanzania hotel, and her fiance is claiming that she took her own life. Her fiance is claiming that she put a rope around her neck and took her own life.
New details just dropped about Ashlee Jenae's death, including what's being called exclusive hotel CCTV footage that supposedly captures the real story behind that fight. For everyone who immediately questioned the official narrative about her taking her own life, looks like your instincts might have been dead on from the start. This all unfolds after Ashlee was discovered strangled in a closet at a Zanzibar resort, mere days into what was supposed to be a dream proposal vacation with her cryptocurrency entrepreneur fiancé, Joe McCann. Authorities rushed to classify this as a suicide before conducting any real investigation, but her family immediately pushed back hard. Consider this: the night before she died, Ashlee and Joe had such a violent argument that resort security physically separated them into different villas 10 minutes apart, and neighbors in adjacent villas reported hearing muffled sounds resembling a struggle coming from her room around 2 in the morning. 11 hours after that, she's found deceased, and they're already calling it suicide? Absolutely not. The couple had traveled to Zanzibar to celebrate her 31st birthday, and based on Ashlee's Instagram posts, which remain live on her profile, everything looked perfect. Nothing in her content hinted at any relationship problems whatsoever. In fact, on April 4th, the day before her birthday, Joe proposed to her, and she shared videos of the moment with her Instagram followers. Then comes the night of April 8th, when they got into an explosive argument that resulted in resort staff separating them into individual villas, 10 minutes apart from each other. Turns out this wasn't their first fight on the trip either. They'd been arguing repeatedly since arrival, but this particular night escalated beyond previous incidents. While neither her family nor investigators have officially confirmed what sparked their arguments, word on the street claims Ashlee discovered Joe sneaking out multiple times to hook up with local women. Allegedly, Joe was a regular at that villa and had been involved with local women well before Ashlee even arrived, while she believed they were there solely to celebrate her birthday, completely unaware of his agenda. After they were separated into different villas following the argument, Joe returned to Ashlee's villa hours later, accompanied by staff members, because he claimed he needed to talk to her. That's when they discovered her unconscious in her closet, with a belt wrapped around her neck. Right from the jump, this situation screams suspicious, and it gets darker. Ashlee's villa neighbors reported hearing disturbing noises coming from her room around 2 in the morning, shortly before her body was found, and this wasn't ordinary noise either. They described it specifically as muffled struggling, like someone being choked and fighting desperately for their life. Obviously, they didn't immediately assume she was being attacked since she was supposedly alone, but in hindsight, those sounds they heard could have been Ashlee being murdered in real time. They literally heard her final moments and had no idea help was needed. Ashlee was transported to the hospital where she was pronounced dead not long after. And get this, Joe didn't contact Ashlee's family to inform them what happened until 11 hours later. Her family was home assuming she was living her best life in Zanzibar with her man, when in reality, she was already gone. Even when he finally reached out initially, his communication with them stopped again for a while before he ultimately delivered the news about Ashlee's death. Her father's, Harry Robinson, told TMZ that the fiancé never reached out to them at all, describing how devastating it was having their daughter halfway around the world with zero communication, just wanting to know her location, who she was with, and confirmation she was safe, begging for anything at all. He added that resorts have cameras everywhere that would match the timeline, asking investigators to simply do their job and provide answers. As typically happens in cases like these, especially involving black women, the police investigation has been absolutely terrible. Initially, the hospital concluded she died from cerebral hypoxia caused by suffocation, but now reports are emerging about CCTV footage that allegedly shows who actually entered her room that night.
They go to Tanzania for her 31st birthday. They get engaged. She looks happy right here. What happened? You're telling me that she was this happy that she wanted to take her life. I want you to look at this woman. Tell me, do you think this woman would have randomly just took her life? They're saying that her fiance, Joe McCann, told Tanzania police that this woman right here put a rope around her neck and took her own life.
The situation gets worse because Ashlee's family claims Joe has completely cut off all communication with them. This man has literally disappeared. The only people he's speaking with are Tanzanian police, and even that raises serious questions because people are now speculating he has connections to both the hotel owner and law enforcement. Adding insult to devastating injury, police have also refused to release her body back to the family despite claiming they've completed the autopsy. Like this family can't catch a single break in this nightmare. At this point, they need to stop doing media interviews and fly directly to Zanzibar themselves, because clearly nobody's going to handle this properly until they show up in person and take control of the situation. No disrespect intended.
And initial call that she got from Joe was 11 hours after something had transpired in the room. And that's very odd. 11 hours later,
11 hours.
Something had transpired, and Joe just relayed to Yolanda that Ashlee was okay and she was stable and she was okay and don't worry about it.
But that she was at the hospital.
Yes. 11 hours later.
So have you spoken to him since, and what has he been saying?
There has been no communication here.
Was there any footage? Did you look at the footage? Did you see the footage? These are things that's very important to us. These are things that can clear everything up. It gives us the timeline. It lets us know what happened. We have not seen or heard or even anything about any kind of footage, surveillance. These are things that we need to know.
Did you guys ever think that Ashlee had any mental health issues?
I would think that's farther from the truth. If you go to her page, you know, as you can see, she's a beacon of light. You know, she likes being on, like it's like being in the camera.
If you thought this story was finished, wait until you hear the latest developments circulating on social media about Joe allegedly having a fetish for black women, plus his passport getting seized after police uncovered new evidence suggesting foul play in Ashlee's death. Turns out, before his relationship with Ashlee, he was previously married to Shay Jackson, a senior brand marketing executive who's worked at Google, Facebook, and currently at Nike and Skims, and they share 2 children together. They apparently married in 2018, but divorced around 2021. The actual reason behind their divorce remains unconfirmed, but internet speculation suggests it might have been his pattern of serial infidelity. And regarding the alleged hotel CCTV footage showing exactly what happened that night, the footage hasn't been publicly released, and police haven't disclosed full details since the case remains under heavy investigation. However, whatever that footage contains was apparently significant enough for authorities to detain Joe in the country far longer than initially planned and confiscate his passport. Basically, without his passport, he's trapped in Zanzibar until the investigation concludes and his innocence gets established. Currently, Joe remains classified as a witness rather than a suspect, but if these rumors hold any truth, it's only a matter of time before that status changes. Meanwhile, people are sharing their opinions, like one person who commented, "She clearly lacked discernment. Look at him. Gross." Another person suggested she probably called off the engagement and he couldn't handle the rejection. "If I can't have you, nobody will" mentality. Now I'm curious about your perspective. What's your take on Ashlee's supposed suicide, and do you genuinely believe Joe was involved in her death? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other explosive video.